The Feather's Lesson, a tale of humility and pride. In the heart of a thick, lush forest, where towering trees embraced the skies and life thrived in every nook and cranny, a small and unassuming sparrow named Selma fluttered her dull wings just as the dawn broke. Selma was a bird of simple feathers, her dull brown coat blending into the woodland palette. Others in the forest never took much notice of Selma, busy as they were with their own colorful lives. One day, as Selma was fluttering about her daily business, a sudden glimmer caught the corner of her keen eye. A soft azure feather, adorned with emerald patterns, lay nestled between two tree roots. Immediately recognizing it as a lost peacock feather, Selma's heart fluttered. Peacocks, in their majestic beauty, were revered in the forest. Their feathers were symbols of grandeur and power. Enchanted by its beauty, Selma couldn't resist the allure of the feather. With careful beak, Selma fastened the peacock feather onto her humble brown coat. The vibrant hues a stark contrast against her simple plumage. The next day, Selma, with the peacock feather fanning out gloriously from her back, ventured out. Immediately, the forest creatures noticed the transformation. Admiring gasps filled the air as Selma fluttered, the peacock feather gleaming brightly under the morning sun. For the first time, Selma was no longer a fading background character. The once unnoticed sparrow was now the center of attraction. The admiration filled Selma's heart with an unprecedented warmth and joy. From then onwards, Selma's life became a dizzying dance of applause, attention, and admiration. In her newfound popularity, Selma began to change. She began to hold herself with an air of importance, her every move filled with an air of arrogance. Selma started to judge other birds by their feathers and scoffed at their dull coats. The little sparrow, once humble and kind, turned into a proud and vain bird, her heart tainted with the allure of her feathery adornment. As days passed, Selma's behavior began to disturb the harmony of the forest. Discontent grew among the woodland creatures. The forest echoed with whispers of Selma's pride and arrogance. However, intoxicated by the admiration, Selma turned a blind eye to the growing unease. The peacock Percy, from whom the feather had originally fallen, upon hearing the stories of the sparrow's arrogance, decided it was time to intervene. Percy was a wise bird, understanding the power and responsibility that came with his plumage. He realized the feather, and the wrong wings, had led to chaos in the forest. One sunny afternoon, as Selma was basking in the admiration of a group of animals, Percy descended from his perch high on the tallest tree, his resplendent tail fanning out in a magnificent display. The forest fell silent. Every eye turned towards Percy. In a firm yet gentle voice, Percy addressed Selma. He spoke of the values of humility, the importance of inner beauty, and how the adornments we wear are not the measure of who we truly are. The words of Percy, delivered with wisdom and kindness, were like the cooling raindrops over a scorching fire. Selma, in her heart, understood Percy's words. The shame of her vanity washed over her, dousing the fiery arrogance. With a remorseful heart, Selma plucked the peacock feather from her back and handed it back to Percy. The forest watched, a collective sigh echoing through the trees. In the following days, Selma made amends. She apologized to her friends and fellow creatures for her haughty behavior. With actions more than words, Selma showed a transformation, her humility shining brighter than any feather could. She returned to her old ways, helping the creatures in the forest with their daily chores and listening to their stories with genuine interest. The once cherished peacock feather seemed insignificant compared to the newfound respect Selma was receiving. The forest creatures, observing Selma's change, began to warm up to her once more. They no longer saw her as the arrogant sparrow, but the humble and kind-hearted bird she once was and had become again. The forest began to thrive, as it once did, in harmony and peace. The shadow of vanity and pride, banished by the humility of a little sparrow. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The story of the sparrow and the peacock feather became a well-told tale around the forest. It served as a reminder to all woodland creatures that true beauty came not from dazzling adornments, but from the kindness and humility of one's heart. As for Selma, the humble sparrow, she learned that the most valuable feathers one can wear are not the ones adorned on the outside, but the ones grown within the heart. It was a lesson she carried with her as she fluttered through the forest, her brown wings catching the sunlight, her spirit shining with genuine beauty. It was no peacock feather, but to the creatures of the forest, Selma was indeed the most beautiful bird, not for her feathers, but for her heart.